Hey guys, it's Zach with Icon Power. So properly setting up all of your settings and your utility rate plan in the Tesla app is very critical for each Powerwall system. The first part of this video, we're going to cover all of our general settings, and that's going to apply to everyone, no matter your utility provider. And then for the back half of this video, we're going to focus on setting up your utility rate plan for SRP, APS, and TEP, the big three utilities here in Arizona. So when you're on the home screen of your system, you can see your power flow. That's what we call it, where you have your solar generation, Powerwall state of charge, all of that. But we're going to go ahead and we're going to jump into settings. Now that we're in settings, we're going to go in order from the very top. You're going to want to go into the Powerwall section of the settings, and then we're going to take a look at backup reserve. And by default, the backup reserve is typically at the recommended spot, which is 20% backup and 80% daily usage. The backup reserve is the reserve energy that you store for grid outages. Basically, think of it like an emergency fund, and in the event of a power outage, you'll always keep, in this case, 20% reserved. So for those of you who aren't as worried about power outages, you can certainly go with a lower number if you'd like, maybe 5, 10%, or even 0, and that's going to give you more daily usage. So in this case, if I go to 0%, then I'll have 100% daily usage, and it'll put me in position to be able to use more of my battery stored energy every single day. But if I have a random outage and I have 0% backup, I'm not going to have anything stored to power my home. Your other option is going with a higher backup reserve, which this is better for those of you who want to treat your battery more like a generator, where it's available and has a good chunk of energy stored away in case of a random outage. There's no right or wrong, but if you're not sure, just leave it at 20%. Now let's move into operational mode. Here we're going to have self-powered and time-based control. And for most of you watching this video, especially if you're on a time of use rate plan, let's go with time-based control. It's going to allow the battery to use its stored energy to maximize savings, and its goal, the logic of the Tesla system, is going to be to maximize the rate plan that we're going to set up to give you the lowest energy bill based on the data that it has. The Tesla AI algorithm is very intelligent in figuring out what makes the most sense to save you the most amount of money based on your energy pattern, solar production, and that rate plan that we have in place. Self-powered mode is a little more simplistic. It's just going to use any of the stored energy in your battery to power the home after the sun goes down. And its goal is to prioritize grid independence. It's not going to take into consideration your rate plan. So it might use your battery energy during less opportune times of day when the rates might not be that expensive. This self-powered operating mode is going to be better for those of you that are either not on a time of use rate plan, or you have multiple battery systems where you just have so much energy stored away that being in time-based control really doesn't matter as much to you. Moving down the screen to permission to export. This is the most important setting. Please pay attention right here. This is critical. Permission to export, you want to make sure this is toggled to yes. Once we receive PTO, permission to operate, from your utility provider, this is one of the most common mistakes that we see. By default, your system should be on no for permission to export. And we just want to flip that to yes. It's going to give you a little pop-up. Just click yes. And now by doing this, we can maximize the system to its full potential. If it stays in the no position, the system will never export energy, which means you're really going to hurt your overall system performance. And the panels, they're not going to generate as much electricity. So again, be certain that it's toggled to yes. Once permission to export is toggled to yes, let's move down to grid charging. If you are on a time of use rate plan with off-peak and super off-peak rates, I would recommend toggling this to yes. You're going to get a pop-up. Go ahead and select yes again, and then you'll be good to go. The reason we recommend grid charging is just because it'll really give you an extra advantage to maximize your utility's rate structure. So let's go back out to settings, hit the arrow up in the top left of the screen, and then when you're on the settings page, select Stormwatch. Now, for Stormwatch, with any utility, if you're on a time of use rate and you have a demand charge, absolutely, if you have a demand charge, which it's very common to be on the time of use rate plans with a demand charge with APS, TEP, and SRP. So I would, if that's the case for you, I would highly recommend turning Stormwatch to off. And the main reason being is because Stormwatch, it will take any sort of weather alert. So any weather alert that could possibly contribute to a power outage, it will prioritize your battery state of charge and ignore the time of use rates. So even if this happens during peak hours, if your battery's at 30% and it's 5 p.m. and there's a weather alert that goes out with Stormwatch enabled, the battery will actually charge from the grid. And that could just be a disaster from a savings standpoint, because that means you could get hit with a demand charge or just expensive peak hour energy where you're paying 2, 3, or 4 times the cost. So it's especially important if you have demand charges, like I said, because one bad hour with demand charge could really cost you a lot of money. So if you're not on a time of use rate plan, you can toggle Stormwatch on. But if you are on a time of use rate plan, I highly recommend toggling it off just to be safe. All right, so we have all of our key Powerwall settings set up. Let's go into utility rate plans right here. Now, my utility rate plan is already set, so let's go ahead and reset it. And we're going to go ahead and set it up from scratch. And that's going to be the position that you're in if this is a brand new Powerwall system. So we have country, US, state, Arizona, and then it asks for a utility provider. But right here, when you get on this screen where it says select your utility provider, no matter who your provider is, we are not going to select APS or SRP from this screen. We're going to select more options right here in the middle of the screen where it says can't find your utility provider, more options. Again, even though they have APS and SRP, some of their rate plans are a little outdated. So we're going to customize it and we're going to get it all set up the way we want to get it set up. So this is where we're going to split off. Check the timestamps below so you can jump ahead if you're with APS or TEP. We're going to go ahead and get started with SRP. So if you're with SRP, you're in the right spot. TEP or APS, find the timestamp below, jump to that point in the video, and you can start there. All right, once we select more options, we're going to go ahead and select custom rate plan. So touch the screen there, and then we're going to set up our custom rate plan with our utility provider. We'll just go with SRP for the name, and then for rate plan, I like putting time of use. Now, whether you're on SRP's rate plan that is just a standard export or you're on their demand plan, it doesn't matter because these hours are the same based on their 2025 rate plan. This is the rate structure where the peak hours in the summer are from 2 p.m. to 8 p.m. and the peak hours in the winter are from 5 a.m. to 9 a.m. and then 5 p.m. to 9 p.m. in the evening. These are all weekdays only. So no matter which time of use rate plan that you are on, the demand charge plan, the standard, or even the EV time of use rate plan, this will all apply to you. The rates may vary a little bit, but the overall concept will be the same either way. We have SRP and we have time of use. We're going to go ahead and select next. And then on the top, we're going to select season and month and time of use. You want to see a blue rectangle around both of these options and then click next. With SRP, you're going to have 2 seasons. Now, this screen is a little confusing because it's kind of strange on how it's set up. You see the pluses and all these little rectangles here on the screen, but don't worry about all this. You just want to have 2 seasons set up. So see right here, we have 2 different seasons. We have season 1 and season 2. And like I said, with SRP, they have a summer season and then a winter season. So let's go ahead and get this all set up. We're going to start with the winter season, which is November to April. I'm going to drag my slider down to April and then this bottom one up to November. So you can see right here, season 1 is November to April, and then my summer schedule, season 2, is May to October. We'll go ahead and select next. Now we're going to set up our rates. We have peak and we have off peak. And this is for only weekdays. As we can see right up here at the top, it says Monday through Friday. In our winter schedule with SRP, we have 2 peak hour windows, 5 a.m. to 9 a.m. and then 5 p.m. to 9 p.m. We have 5 p.m. to 9 p.m. all set up, but we need another one. So we'll hit add time period. We'll select peak, and then we'll grab these little sliders. Now, I'm going to slide it up to 5 a.m. and then slide the second one up to 9 a.m. Now, we're all good. This is all set up properly. So we have 5 a.m. to 9 a.m. and 5 p.m. to 9 p.m. And then everything else is off peak. So we're all good. We're going to select next and move forward. Now, up at the top, it's going to say weekends, same season. Weekends, we don't need any peak hours. It's all off peak. So I'm just going to select those 3 dots, hit delete, and then delete again. And then this is just going to give us one time slot for all off peak. So you just want to delete all those other slots. So we should just see one all green bar over here on the right. And then we're going to go ahead and select next. So again, this is for season 1, which is our winter schedule. This is our cost per kilowatt hour for each time period, November to April. You'll see a buy and a sell. This is all from the perspective of the homeowner, what my rate is to buy electricity from the utility and what my rate is or credit is to sell electricity back to the utility. For off-peak winter, we're going to input the buy price at 7 cents a kilowatt hour. And then we're going to put the sell price at 3 cents a kilowatt hour. Now, for the peak rates, we're going to make the buy price 30 cents a kilowatt hour, and the sell price, we're going to keep it at the 3 cents a kilowatt hour. Now, for this peak, we're making this buy rate quite a bit higher because it's more expensive. Whether you're on the regular time of use rate plan, the EV plan, or the demand charge plan, you're going to pay more from 5 a.m. to 9 a.m. or 5 p.m. to 9 p.m. on this schedule. So for here, we're going to put 30 cents, and that's going to safely cover all of your bases. To put perspective for the Powerwall, that the cost of energy is significantly more expensive during this time. Then, like I said, the sell rate will be that same 3 cents a kilowatt hour again. So that's how it should look on your screen. 7 cents for your buy off peak, 3 cents for your sell off peak, 30 cents for your buy during peak, and then that same 3 cents sell during peak as well. Moving into the summer schedule, which is season 2, this is going to be May through October. And this is going to be a very, very similar process, but the hours, they're going to be different. During this schedule, it's 2 p.m. to 8 p.m., only one peak hour window. So we don't have to add a second one. You just adjust that there, slide it up to 2, and then slide it down to 8, and you should see it right here on the screen. Then weekends, again, we can toggle that same schedule off, delete out our peak window. Now it's all green. It's all off peak during this time. For off peak, for buy, we're going to put 6 cents a kilowatt hour. And then for our sell, we're going to do that same 3 cents a kilowatt hour that we've been doing. For peak, we're going to do the same as the winter, 30 cents buy, and then 3 cents for the sell. So this is what it should look like for your summer schedule. 2 p.m., 8 p.m., buy rate off peak is 6, sell rate off peak is 3, sell rate for peak is also 3, and then the big one, the buy rate during peak is 30 cents a kilowatt hour. Now, again, the battery will know, hey, energy is very, very expensive from 2 to 8, and it will prioritize these times accordingly. So you should get to this final review of everything just to make sure it was all input correctly. If your screen looks like this where you can't see more information, just toggle these little arrows and it'll open it up and give you all the information you're looking for. So let's go ahead and do a quick recap. Season 1, November through April, weekday schedule, 5 to 9 a.m., 5 to 9 p.m., weekend schedule, it's all off peak. Off peak, peak energy, buy and sell, all looks good to me. Season 2, May through October, same concept, but it's 2 to 8 p.m. And that's our only peak hour window. Everything else is off peak, including weekends. Buy, sell, everything looks good. So we're going to go ahead, click save. And if you do have a link with a Tesla vehicle, so if you have a Tesla vehicle paired to your account, it will give you a little prompt right here. And now we are all good to go with SRP. If I click on utility rate plan again, it should be able to give you a quick recap like earlier. And for any reason you forgot your rate plan or you just want to double check it, you can hit these little arrows, like I said, and view more information. You can also edit it. So if you ever need to make any changes for any reason, you can do so right here. Everything else looks good from there. And this is how you set up SRP. Again, depending on your rate plan, you probably could change this a little bit, but overall on this time-based control operational mode, with this rate plan that we set up, this is really going to maximize SRP's rates on any of their time of use rate plans that they offer before that 2025 deadline. Those are the rate plans that are grandfathered through 2029. Any of those plans will be taken care of and perform very well with these rate settings. But if you have any other questions on this specifically, let us know. But if you're an SRP customer, you're all good from here. We're going to now move into APS. So if you're an APS customer, you're probably starting the video right here, and we're going to start all of this from scratch. You should be on this utility provider page, and with APS, they have your regular time of use and then your time of use with a demand charge. Those are the two different rate plans they offer solar customers. Now, no matter which plan you're on, these rules and rates that we're going to set up, they will work the same either way. You might need to make some modifications based on preference, but ultimately, these rates right here will get your battery to operate and really maximize either way. So just keep in mind, if you are on a plan with a demand charge, the demand charge, if you make a mistake of using too much power during peak and your battery is empty, that could be an expensive mistake. So just something to consider there. Again, utility provider, if you select APS, that's not the way we're going to do it. We do not want to select the pre-selected option. We're going to go ahead, we're going to toggle more options and then custom rate plan. For utility provider name, we'll put APS. And then rate plan, we'll put time of use. That's how it should look on the screen. Then you'll hit the blue next button. You're going to toggle season and month and time of use. And now both of these spots should be highlighted blue. We'll click next and set up our season. So for APS, they have two seasons. Season 1 is going to be your winter schedule. That's November through April. And season 2 is going to be your summer schedule, which is May through October. Let's start with our winter schedule where it says season 1. You can see it says November through May. We're going to toggle this little white bar up, just long press and drag it up. Now it says November through April. That's our season 1. And then May through October, that is our season 2. So we've got our winter, we've got our summer seasons, and schedules all set up. Now we're going to select next. Now we're going to go ahead and get season 1 set up for our rate schedule and our hours. And in this winter schedule with APS, we have off-peak and then we have super off-peak as well, where energy is really, really cheap. It's just about 4 cents a kilowatt hour. So we will need to add that, but to get started, we're just going to adjust our peak hours. We're going to start there. So for APS, every single weekday of the year, minus holidays, 4 p.m. to 7 p.m. are peak hours. They have no change in their schedule from winter to summer like we see with other utilities. So this is all we need to remember. 4 to 7, those are the expensive times of day. So on this winter schedule, they have that little bonus with that super off-peak that we mentioned earlier. So once we get our peak set to 4 to 7, we're going to go ahead and add that super off-peak as well. So we can hit add time period and then select super off-peak. And you should see a couple of rectangles show up on this little green bar. And we just want to drag those along the screen. And their super off-peak time, it's going to be from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. every single weekday throughout the winter schedule. So this is what it should look like here on the screen. We got super off-peak from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. That's the blue bar. Peak from 4 p.m. to 7 p.m. That's the red bar. And then everything else is green because that's all off-peak. Once yours looks like this, let's go ahead and select next. Now, APS, their time of use hours are only on weekdays like we said. So when they ask about the weekend schedule, like we can see at the top of the screen here, we can toggle that little checkbox right here to off. And then you can hit these 3 dots right here next to where it says any of these sections on the schedule. And we could just delete this all out so we just have one off-peak time block. All green on weekends throughout both seasons. Once it looks like this, let's go ahead and select next. Now, there's a recap. We can see at the top of the screen as well. We have weekday, super off-peak, and peak, as well as weekends all off-peak. We're going to set up our buy and our sell rates. And again, I know I mentioned this in the SRP section, but we'll mention it again. When we say buy and we say sell, this is from the perspective of you as the homeowner. How much you pay to buy electricity from the utility, and then how much you receive in credit when you sell them electricity. So to begin with, we're going to work backwards. We're going to start with peak down here at the bottom. And in the winter, we're going to set the buy price during peak to 30 cents a kilowatt hour. And that's whether you're on demand time of use or regular. This is going to work for you. And then we'll set the sell price to 6 cents a kilowatt hour. And for most of you watching, it's either going to be 7 cents or 6 cents, depending on when you got your solar. But just for simplicity, let's go with 6 cents so we round down and make things simple. For our off-peak during the winter, we'll put our buy price at 7 and our sell price at the same 6. And then for the super off-peak, we'll put our buy price at 4 and our sell price at the same 6. So your sell price should be the same 6 cents across the board, and the buy price should vary, with the peak being the most expensive and the off-peak, or excuse me, the super off-peak being the least expensive. So now we're on to season 2, which is our summer schedule. And for the summer schedule, the primary change here is that APS does not have the super off-peak time period. We're just going to have peak and off-peak. And those peak hours, they're going to be the same, 4 p.m. to 7 p.m. So we just have to adjust this accordingly. We should see peak from 4 p.m. to 7 p.m. And then everything else is off-peak. Select next. For weekends, you can hit the toggle where it says same schedule as weekdays to off. Delete the peak window, select those 3 dots, click delete, and then all we need is one off-peak time slot. It's all green. Once yours looks like this, select next. All right, now let's input our rates. For our summer rates, we'll start with peak again for the summer. The buy price is a little more expensive. We're going to go with 40 cents a kilowatt hour. Again, whether you're on demand or regular time of use, this works perfectly fine. And then our sell price, it's the same 6 cents a kilowatt hour. And then for off-peak, buy price is 7 cents and sell price is 6 cents. So again, peak should be quite a bit more expensive. Sell price is the same. And then off-peak's got a pretty economical cost of electricity. We'll select next, and now you should see this final review of your rate plan setup. You can toggle these little arrows to the right to expand the different seasons, so you can do a recap of everything. Just make sure you didn't miss anything. Do not exit out yet. We need to hit save. Your summer and your winter should look like what we have here on the screen. You can see season 1, winter, the schedule, when is peak, when is off-peak, weekend schedule, all of that information. Same for season 2. Now you're all good. You can double check in the settings under utility rate plan. You can see your rate plan right here on the screen. Everything's all clear. And if for any reason you ever need to make any adjustments, you can do so just by pressing edit and then making any changes that you need to. So that's APS. If you got into this point, you are all good to go. Thanks for watching. Now we're going to do our last utility provider, which is Tucson Electric Power, TEP. We're on the settings page. Let's go ahead and select utility rate plan. And since I already have something set, I'm going to go ahead and hit change rate plan. If you haven't set anything up at this point, you just need to proceed forward. You don't need to hit change rate plan. We should both be on a screen that looks similar to this, where you see utility provider. For TEP, they are not a listed utility provider, so we don't even have a choice. We're going to go ahead, select more options right there in the middle of the screen, and then we're going to select custom rate plan. For provider name, we'll put TEP, and then rate plan, time of use. And TEP, they have 2 time of use rate plans. They have regular time of use and then demand time of use. And if you have a battery, we generally recommend the demand time of use plan, but honestly, for either case, the rates that we're going to input right here today, they will apply to both options, and they will get your battery system to work the way we want to maximize savings. And the peak hours, they're the same on both rate plans, so it really doesn't matter at the end of the day. Once your screen looks like this, click next, and then we're going to want to select season and month and time of use. You want to see both of these sections highlighted in blue. And then we'll click next. And for TEP as well, we have 2 seasons. We have a winter schedule, which is October through April, And then we have a summer schedule, which is May through September. With TEP, we want season 1 to say October to April, and you can adjust that right here by just grabbing these little white line and then outlining your season. October through April, that's winter, season 1. And then season 2 by default is May through September. And that's what it should look like on our end. We'll select next, and we are going to start right here in season 1. Should say October, April, and we have 2 peak hour windows during our winter schedule. We have 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. and then 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. weekdays only. Weekends, they're all off peak, so we only need to be concerned with the weekdays. When we're on this setup right here, we just want to drag these little white sliders and move these to 6 to 9 p.m. And then we have peak 1 all set up. And then we'll select add time period, and that's that little plus button, and then we'll pick peak. And when this happens, you're going to drag this new little white line up to 6 a.m. and the second white line to 9 a.m. And that's what it should look like. We got peak block 1, 6 to 9 a.m., peak block 2, 6 to 9 p.m., and then the rest is all off peak. And if you need to make any adjustments, you can just tap on which section you want to adjust, and then move your white lines up and down accordingly. And once it looks like this, we'll click next and go into weekends. Now, weekends, we can toggle the same schedule as weekdays box to off, and then you can hit those little 3 dots next to peak and delete them out. All we need is one off-peak window just like this. It's all green since the weekends, they're all off-peak, and that's all you need. So we'll go ahead and click next. Now, we can input our buy and our sell rates for both time blocks, and keep in mind, these buy and the sell rates are from your perspective. How much it costs you to buy electricity from TEP, and then how much you get credited to sell your electricity to TEP, or your solar export as we call it. For off-peak in the winter, we'll put our buy price at 8 cents a kilowatt hour, and then our sell price we'll put at 5 cents per kilowatt hour. And this is about how much, for most of you watching, you're getting in terms of credit for every kilowatt hour that you send them. Some of you watching might be a little closer to 6, but for most of you, you're probably closer to 5, and it's just all dependent on when you got installed. And then for our peak time, we're going to put our buy price at 20 cents a kilowatt hour. And this, again, this is fine whether you're on regular time of use or time of use with demand charge. And then for your sell, we're going to put 5 cents again. And this is going to be the same export rate for all seasons. So 5 cents is always going to be the sell price. Once yours looks like this, go ahead, click next, and we have our winter rates all set up. Now, let's move on to season 2. You can see up in the top left, it says season 2, May through September. This is our summer schedule, and we only have one set of peak hours, and that's going to be from 3 p.m. to 7 p.m. We're going to drag our sliders up to that. Once it looks like this, we are good to select next. Very, very simple. And for weekends, again, we can deactivate this checkbox and then delete our peak hour slot. Now it's just all off peak. And once it looks like this, all green bar, select next. For our rate schedule, for off peak in the summer, we're going to do 8 cents per kilowatt hour for your buy. And again, that same 5 cents per kilowatt hour to sell. And then for peak rates, the expensive time, 3 to 7, we're going to set it at 40 cents a kilowatt hour. And we set it quite a bit higher because cost of energy is higher in the summer as well. And then the sell, we're going to do the same 5 cents per kilowatt hour. And we'll select next. Now, final recap should look like this. And for everyone watching here, these little arrows on the right side, they'll actually expand the different seasons. So you can just do this quick recap of everything. And don't exit out just yet. We do need to save it. And you can pause the screen here. The summer and winter, it should look like this, like we have on the screen. You got your season 1, October through April, the schedule, the rates. And then for season 2, you have your May through September, schedule rates, all of that. Once it looks good, go ahead and click save. Thank you so much for watching. If you do have any questions on this, please reach out. Hopefully you all enjoy your brand new Powerwall system. We'll talk to you next time.